Hey, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Now, I'm going to show this episode, season 29, episode 5, and I found some interesting characters, right? And I'll show you these characters, and then I'll play a video from one of the characters because I think it's worth noting. And you guys have seen this video multiple times. So, without further ado, let me just play this portion of it. And pay attention to it because I think there's an interesting part here that's going to tie in at the end. So it gives you a history of The Simpsons. Predates back to older, 18th, 19th century. Maybe even further down. Okay, so they got to move. They're being chased, right, by the guards. Then they go to the U.S. for what I believe is freedom, right? They're escaping and going to a land of opportunity, which they need their identification, which, I mean, it's kind of similar to a lot of things. Now watch this part because I think it's interesting. And you'll see why this is interesting once I show you another clip. Okay? Water. You're thinking of, okay, it's flooding. That could either be in terms of investing liquidity, right? Or it could be climate change. And I feel like they're giving you a little visual of the future here because a lot of things are coming into play. Okay, so you see there's a flood there that happens, and then the power goes out. Now, what I think is one of two things. So it could be one, climate change that they're talking about, where things get flooded, right? Or it could be liquidity. When you have a wave of liquidity coming in and you're trying to transfer into a new financial system, there'll be a global outage, right? And you flip the switch. Now, how that happens, no one knows, but there's a lot of talk about flipping the switch and it happening overnight. And that's, when you flip the switch, you have this wave of liquidity coming on. Now, Jay Biancamono once said that it goes trickle, trickle, and then flood in terms of like the capital flowing into the crypto space. And I thought that was a very interesting introduction, right? Because it's giving you like a historical context of everything. And then you have that, which is kind of weird. You're like, why would they have, like the living room flooding? And so I found that very interesting. And then it goes on and it tells you, it shows you space, which there's a lot of talk about people going to, space or whatever, whether that be through Blue Origin or SpaceX, etc. Okay, now I'm going to skip forward here and keep that introduction in mind. And I'm going to go and skip over to this part right here. And who does this lady remind you of? Who does she look like? Christine Lagarde, right? And we know how she was at the IMF. She was the head of the IMF. Now she's at the European Central Bank. She's a huge figure. Okay, now I'm going to show you another piece here. If I can get to it. Okay, right here. And it reminds me of when Clinton was running against Trump. But nevertheless, I just thought I'd show you guys because these numbers are actually pretty close to what the actual popularity vote was back then. Okay. Let's see. And here, this guy right here, this is where it's going to tie into my next clip. Now, this guy looks a lot like Glenn Hutchins, right? And, I forgot to say, he might look a little bit like Anderson Cooper from CNN. Now, anyways, Here it's Glenn Hutchins. And Glenn Hutchins has this very popular clip that made its rounds around the XRP community. And it's interesting that all these characters actually look very familiar to real life people. And what they're doing in The Simpsons is interesting to me. But when I saw that introduction to the episode, and then I saw Glenn Hutchins, I tied it all together and remembered this. I'll play it for you.
Crypto. Another one of your interests, and you've kind of gotten into that, but we've just seen a huge meltdown over the past 12, 15 months. You're still a believer?
So, if we'd been sitting here together in 2002, we probably were. You would have asked me, the internet. We've just seen this huge meltdown in the last 12 to 15 months. Are you still a believer? Right?
Yep.
And so the answer is yes. Now the digital currency solution is the most important technological advance I've seen since the internet. It has the capacity to do lots more, but it certainly has the capacity to enable us to move anything of value around the world at the speed of light at no cost. It has three components. It has a token of value, which is called the Bitcoin. It has a accounting mechanism, which is called the blockchain. But the most important piece, which is one that people aren't focusing on, is the protocol. The underlying protocol by which we agree to conduct these transactions. So you use a series of protocols every day, and you don't even think about them. You don't think about the internet protocol. You don't think about the simple mail technology protocol. You don't think about the file transfer protocol. You don't think about the high text translation protocol. I go through, right? You just make use of the technology, and the protocols make it work. The people who really understand what's going on with digital currencies understand that putting these protocols in place, the blockchain protocol, the Ethereum protocol, the Ripple protocol, the Ripple protocol, the Ripple protocol, and then enabling those protocols to cause transactions to occur. And then those transactions can be defined very broadly as not just moving things of value, but anything that's got an information content. Is extraordinarily transformative. The focus on the value of the token is distracting and uninformative.
Boom. That just let you know everything you need to know. And so when you're looking at different tokens, really, you know that the accounting mechanism is the blockchain, right? And the token is a representative of how you're able to transact. But the underlying protocol on how people agree to do these things, like he said, is very important. And I think that in the beginning of this episode here, where you see it getting flooded, right? Whether that be because of, the World Economic Forum has put out videos that say, what if your bank account was frozen due to weather? Well, what if everything got halted because of some weather event where there's a lot of water and it caused a power outage? I don't know how it happened globally, but that would set up something where we enter the new financial system. So I just thought that was interesting. Let me know what you guys think. These are things that I'm trying to connect together, and I kind of got that idea when I saw these different characters on this episode. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Let's try to get to 100 subscribers. Thank you guys for subscribing to this channel. Alrighty. Have a good one.